Now, to the Indian consumer, Toyota has become a brand that's synonymous with peace of mind ownership, and this shows in the sales figures of all their cars. Even the diesels have been successes, be it the Qualis, the Innova, or the Fortuner. They've all been runaway hits. Actually, Toyota even hadn't anticipated the kind of hit that the Fortuner would become. Well, one car's been missing the diesel engine. It's the Toyota Corolla Altis. It's getting one now. Let's see what that means for the Corolla Altis. On the surface, the car is unchanged and even the interiors remain the same. It's got good space and features, some good quality bits, and a generally impressive fit and finish. There's plenty of legroom at the rear, the seat back is nicely angled, and overall comfort is impressive too. Start up and you're in for a pleasant surprise. Doesn't sound like a diesel at all. Once you get moving, you soon realize that this engine is really refined. It's got to be one of the smoothest, most silent diesels around. There's no clatter that you normally have with a diesel engine. There's this bit of patter that sounds like it's somewhere in the distance. In an effort to keep the noise of the diesel motor out, Toyota has added layer upon layer of insulation. There are 3 layers between the engine compartment, firewall and the cabin. 2 layers insulate the floor, and even the rear wheel arches get their own insulation, making even the rear seat ride quite a silent affair. Now, most cars in this class generally have a 1.9 or 2-liter engine. That's not so in the case of the Corolla Altis. It's got a smaller engine that churns out just 87 bhp. Now, despite the variable geometry turbo, which is more expensive, that Toyota have put in, there is lot of lag and you do feel it, especially below 2000 RPM. Now, this is typically the place where you are in city traffic. You keep falling below that 2000 RPM mark and you realize that you really have to work the gears to get this moving. You can't just put your foot down and go. After 2000 RPM, there's a nice spike in power and you finally feel like this engine is breathing. What's good is that you have a 6-speed gearbox, which means you can drive at really low revs when you're cruising. All that translated means you can expect good fuel efficiency from this engine. Use the gears well and you can get past that initial lag in the city too. While stability at highway speeds is decent, the soft suspension setup means that the chassis hasn't been optimized for driving pleasure. There's quite a bit of body roll and the Altis is much happier driven a notch down. That said, the steering is pretty accurate and placing the car exactly where you want is no problem. Toyota has stiffened the suspension a little bit to deal with the heavier diesel engine, but that really hasn't made much difference to the ride at all. This car is still comfortable and it glides over all the potholes. In a nutshell, this is our verdict. This is not a car that's to be enjoyed from the driver's seat. It's not for passionate or inspired driving. It's much better in the back seat. That's the place to be. It's great for being chauffeured around in. You've got that peace of mind that comes with the Toyota ownership. The back seat is comfortable, it's silent, it's refined, and now with the diesel engine, it's going to be easier on your wallet.